If you're elected or re-elected in your case, what will you recommend be done, if anything, to the penny sales tax increase?
Well, the penny sales tax increase was really put there to underpin the city in the worst economy we've ever seen in the history of the city and in our nation. So what we plan to do is for it to be temporary anyway. So once the economy starts growing, we're seeing growth now. It's a little slow right now, but once we start putting on more employees in these major industries, we suspect our economy will go from like a 7.5 unemployment rate to probably about a 4. And when we get to that, we'll see the economy start working like it should, and I think then we can forego the 1 cent sales tax.
When do you think you might reassess it?
We will. I think that from what we are hearing, the thing that really drives it is what's happening with the national economy. That really trickles down to the local economy. I'm hearing that 2016 they expect it to stabilize. I think that it will be at least that long in the city of Mobile before we see a stable economy, not a growing economy. We'll see a growing economy, but a stable economy will take a little longer. So I don't suspect that that will happen in the next 2 fiscal years.
Okay. Second question. According to the CDC, 2/3 of the adults in Mobile are overweight or obese. Only 17% of low-income citizens live within a mile of a grocery store. It's far easier for them to buy liquor and cigarettes and junk food than it is to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. Experts refer to this as a food desert. What can you do as mayor to get grocery stores into low-income neighborhoods?
We have been working on that. Frankly, the Martin Luther King Redevelopment organization has been working to do that. We just broke ground last week for a shopping center they're putting together. Their magnet store there should be a grocery store. We are developing new houses for low-income citizens, and it's necessary for them to have that service. So we've been working with a lot of different grocers, trying to sell them on the idea of Midtown, north part of town, south part of town, so to try to bridge that gap. And many of them really are accustomed to being in much larger areas as it relates to transportation arteries. But we do have some that's looking very closely at that, and we continue to try to recruit those into those communities because it's essential to those communities. Some people now, like we have in the Renaissance Plaza there across from the Press Register, those folk have to go all the way to Government Street to buy groceries. And at one time, they were plentiful in those areas, but I think now we're having more of a task getting people back in there because they still use some of the old statistics as it relates to crime in other areas, and we're trying to update them on that. So I'm optimistic that we'll see that happen in a lot of our communities.
Okay. 3. Many successful cities like Chattanooga, for example, have invested in green space and other quality of life projects. Considering the addition now of Airbus to Mobile, how can you improve the quality of life in a way that those people who work in Mobile also want to live in Mobile?
We are in the process now of upgrading our infrastructure in our recreation areas. All of our parks, we just actually broke ground for a new skate park over at the park here at the airport and government where the Public Safety Memorial Park is. We've done that. We're spending about $4 million upgrading parks this year. But on top of that, there are some other plans. As you know, we have a park schedule, at least a major park schedule, right in front of the museum next to Government Plaza. We will start work on that hopefully next year. We also have a bike trail schedule that we'll be doing on the water from around Brooklyn all the way down to like the Driftwood area of Dolphin Island Parkway. So we're working on some of those. We're also working on some other green spaces that we're in conjunction with the county and some other agencies. We really want to see some of those things happen. Our council president, Reggie Copeland, is really working on the soccer complex, and we're talking to some individuals about partnershiping with that. So we are aware of that. The one thing that we are trying to do, we're trying to use some federal grants. We're trying to use some of our budget capabilities to upgrade parks, lighting, and a lot of different things. But, we are cognizant of green spaces, and it's something that's a priority for us.
Okay, very good. 4. Census figures show that actually more people in Mobile walk to work than use public transit. What pressure can you exert as mayor to make public transportation more accessible to those who need it?
Public transportation is quite accessible now, and you're right, there is a ridership issue, and we do a lot of marketing of public transit. I think what we've got to do is be a little more innovative with the routes. Normally the routes are driven by need, When we survey areas, the transit authority survey areas, what they try to find is enough ridership to change a route. And right now, they're still in that process. But it's one of the things we'd love to see. We have an excellent transit system, good equipment, but we don't get a lot of people who ride transit. So we are actually at the point now of doing a survey of ridership, and hopefully we can expand those routes to a lot of different areas of the city. Quite frankly, the largest population that we get riding our transit system are people coming from the north part of the county, Pritchard, Chickasaw, Saraland, coming into Mobile. That's really our largest route right now. But we'd like to see West and South Mobile be equally involved in the transit system.
Number 5, what can you do as mayor, or are doing as mayor, to get and keep a cruise ship in Mobile?
Well, I think that that was an excellent article that the Register did, some research on what the situation is with cruise ship. Quite frankly, right now we have somewhat of an advantage because we are so close to the open sea versus other cruise ship ports. If you notice that Baltimore, Boston, and Norfolk, Virginia all lost their cruise ships in the last few weeks. And they did that because of a new low sulfur fuel regulation that they have on cruise ships. And I think the experts said in this article that it has absolutely nothing to do with Mobile as a location, as the adequacy of our terminal, as the hospitality we give. That has absolutely nothing to do with the cruise industry is interested in the bottom line. If they can make more money somewhere else, they relocate the ship. We are now meeting with them. We've met with them several times. We usually meet with them about every 90 days and try to reassess where they are. Our last meeting was a very, very good meeting with them about a month ago. And they have a real interest in Mobile. But as I said earlier, you have to be able to show them that the bottom line is going to be better here than it is somewhere else. And some of the ports that we compete with is we compete with New Orleans. We compete with Jacksonville, Florida. We compete with Galveston, Texas, as well as the Florida coast that's had ships for many, many years. So we are still in that competition. And I think that we are right now postured pretty well in that competition. But the movement of the cruise ship had nothing to do with any deficiency in Mobile other than the fact that they thought they could make more money somewhere else.
Number 6, about a third of the young people in Mobile live below the poverty line. Considering that poor males are twice as likely to get arrested and that poor females are 5 times more likely to have a child out of wedlock, how can you as the mayor address the societal and the economic problems posed by poverty in our city?
I think that that's a real important question. The reason we are trying to grow this economy, the reason we brought all the jobs into Mobile and all the opportunities in Mobile is to turn that picture around. You know, for many years, that segment of the population has really been kind of locked out of the world of work. And I think that's changing. I think you'll see a lot more opportunities, a lot more training opportunities. Right now, we have a big effort on 80-20. As far as school is concerned, dropouts. We had a lot of dropouts. So when those jobs came to town, we had people who didn't have high school diplomas. We had people who had extensive criminal records, and we had people who couldn't pass the drug screen. And we are actively working toward that because now those opportunities are here before us, and we would love for that segment of our population to become very, very productive citizens by getting good jobs and something that they've not had an opportunity to get in the past.
Number 7, only about 1 in 4 Mobilians has a college degree. How can you attract high-tech companies if the city can't attract or retain its college graduates?
Well, I think the city will be able to retain a lot more of our college graduates because now we have a lot more opportunities to offer them that we didn't have in the past. We constantly had young people, including people in my family, who've had to go other places to get started in their careers because of the lack of opportunities in Mobile. I think that is changing. And I think also what's changing is the opportunities to get a college degree. University of South Alabama is growing, doing great. The University of Mobile, as well as Spring Hill College. And I think those institutions really are helping in terms of us getting the kind of people we need in the workforce, especially for high-tech industry. Then the community college system is helping. Those individuals who are below the poverty level, those individuals who are below middle income, still can go and start their college career at a community college and then move on to one of the universities. So I think that you'll see our workforce development system is very, very active in trying to bridge that gap right now. And I'm very optimistic that they'll be successful in that because of the number of new opportunities we have.
Okay. Final question. What is Mobile doing well, and what can you do to improve it?
Mobile is partnershiping well. All levels of government and other entities in Mobile, including the utilities company, work together very, very well to put together a united front as we go and try to recruit industry. We do that quite well. We also do very, very well as it relates to us providing for our public safety area. There's been a lot accomplished in those areas, both in the fire department and the police department, and I think that you'll see that really continue. But I think the things that we really have to do now, we have to deal more on getting more amenities in the Mobile, things like theme parks, sports plexes, those kinds of things. We have to do those kinds of things. We have to continue our redevelopment of downtown. We have to really make Mobile a place where when people come and they leave, wherever they go, they say, you got to go to Mobile and see this. We've got to have that kind of attitude, and that's what we're working toward. And we're working toward that in a lot of different ways, but it's all driven by the economy and the growth of the economy. And that's why we're spending so much time and so much effort on growing our economy, on providing good quality jobs, and providing a quality of life that really is conducive for growing our city.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Very
Thank
good.
you, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you.